There's only 48 hours left for the Kickstarter campaign for Metrorunner from Thunderworks Games, a fairly well-known publisher with their claim to fame being
cartographers, and then they have Dawn of Helios and Tenpenny Parks, among others.
A variety of other titles. Now, this is a video coming in the last few days of a Kickstarter project, which means you might have already seen gameplays, previews, and breakdowns of what makes Metrorunner unique. In this video, however, we're going to give you a quick overview, and then we're going to start talking about what might make this game right or wrong for different people in your gaming group, and what makes the Kickstarter campaign itself stand out at this point. After all, they've already unlocked everything, revealed everything, provided all the discounts they're going to provide, so the question remains, is it a worthwhile back? We're trying to answer all the questions that both Shira and I ask when we're in the last few days between charging our card and dropping down to a $1 pledge. We are not sponsored in any way by Thunderworks Games. However, we have played this game before with the publisher, and we do enjoy some of their other titles. Cartographers is one of the core games in our personal gaming library. That being said, Metrorunner. Should I give a little overview of the theme? Because it's kind of here, and then we'll dive into the actual mechanics of the game. We share the weight really effectively. I talk about pretty flavor text, and Shira gets into the brass tacks of how a game actually operates.
Mechanics and how you win, because, that's what's important here.
This being a Euro game, the theme is a little bit of a overlay or a skin on top. You're going to be racing around a city trying to complete objectives, recruit different allies, gather resources, and hack into the core system to, prove that you're the best at doing that. I think there is some overarching threat or storyline. There's some core objective you're going for, and our characters do have quite a bit of nice flavor text. The artwork looks lovely, the theming is there. However, at the end of the day, this is a Euro game first and foremost, which means the mechanics are where the game shines.
Yes, your objective is going to be to have the most points at the end of the game. There's going to be 3 end game triggering conditions. You are going to be taking turns going around the rondel and around the table, each taking a move action and then taking a district action or a location action and manipulating things, gathering resources, trying to complete the jobs over there and the contracts up on top.
Now, there are a lot of ways to score points, but in a classic Euro fashion, everything you do kind of leads in that direction. So Shira breaks down the different functions of the game. Just assume, do that to the best of my ability to score as many points as I can. The end game triggers, Shira, that will close off. One of them will be going through all of these job cards.
Yes, going through that entire deck.
One of them is upgrading your own personal influence and notoriety, becoming the best hacker, or at least triggering a time when people vote on who the best hacker was. And the third one?
Is going to be having 9 jobs in your tableau.
Yeah, one of the primary scoring functions of the game is completing jobs, stacking them a maximum of 3 deep, getting in-game bonuses, and trying to match the symbols up there in that row. So the core actions we can take.
The core actions that you can take are, on these squares, you can complete a hacking action, which deals with this puzzle in the middle of the board. You can gather a certain number of cubes, depending on how high your notoriety track is, or you can grab 2 jobs from the marketplace over there, either top decking it or from the ones available. The jobs are going to be a massive part of the game, where you're going to be trying to collect the cube requirements that are listed on the side of the card, which will then give you in-game instant bonuses, which will take you up on these tracks and give you more resources, more money, more tokens, and then they'll give you sometimes an in-game bonus as well, depending on the card. And then they're also going to have end-game points on the side. End-game points don't get tallied until the very end. You're also trying to complete different jobs based on the color to then complete the contracts up there. And that lines up with the 3 that Jesse was saying here on your board.
So in this zone here, I only need a red and a blue to score those 3 points at the end of the game. But over here, I need a blue, yellow, and black, which limits the amount of jobs that I'm going to be hunting for and everyone else is going to be hunting for. You could fill them in however you'd like, and you will get a bonus for filling in certain columns and rows. Along with that, depending on the asymmetric faction you're playing, like I'm playing the yellow faction, starting here in Market Square with a asymmetric character ability for the hacking, I want to complete as many of my own personal color objectives for endgame scoring that's unique to me as well.
Yeah, so you might go for the 2 scoring ones that have the yellow in it, which is both maximizing the contracts as well as your own personal color.
It's not obvious that you will be able to accomplish all of them. Likely someone will drive endgame either by completing jobs that don't score for all of those points, or by one of the other 2 conditions before you have a chance to finish everything on the table.
Yes. The other major part of this game is going to be this hacking puzzle in the center. When you land on these skull spaces in every single district, you can take a hacking action. On your hacking action, you're trying to complete one of these puzzles. You are trying to create a path that will lead from the green node to the green node through a number of tracks. And then if you have unlocked these by going up the influence track,
blue and pink on your 2-player boards,
those are additional ones that you can get for additional bonuses. So you would want a complete linking of all of the different nodes on the board.
Now, when you complete these, you're also going to be adding resources to the game board that other players might be able to pick up when they take a district action.
Yep.
So here we would be adding a blue cube to the blue area, a purple cube to the purple area.
Yep.
Okay, I got it. She's proud of me.
I am very proud of you. If you complete the hacking action, then you'll get those instant rewards as well as the rewards if you did the alpha or the beta one.
You can complete multiple in a single turn, and other players will be manipulating this as the game goes around. So when it gets to your turn, there's a chance you look up there and the perfect solution is available, or you're now way farther away than you'd assumed you would be.
When you do a hacking action, you can take 2 hacking moves for free, which is... they're listed over here. You can either rotate a tile 90 degrees, you can swap 2 adjacent tiles, you can shift an entire row, so move it up and put the one on the bottom, and then each asymmetric character is going to have a unique hacking ability. So this is swap any tile with this X skull tile. The X skull tile will never be able to create a pathway through it, and yours is swap any tile on the top row with any tile on the bottom row.
So there's a lot of ways to manipulate this board. You're all messing with it as the game goes around, but if you're willing to spend the resources and go out of your way to solve the puzzle, you can usually get some solutions. It just might cost you more than it's worth to find them.
And then it's going to help you accomplish all your other goals in the game. It's going to generate you cubes, it's going to take you up on these tracks, which will make solving the puzzles better and more rewarding, and give you more points at the end of the game.
Now, the other actions you can take in the districts are going to be a district action or a cube gathering action. Those are pretty straightforward. You're either going to be grabbing cubes from the location that's there, that the hacking actions have spawned, or you're going to be taking cubes related to the color of the location that's available.
Or you're going to be completing a job based on the color. That's the other district action.
I thought we'd already covered jobs, but yeah, completing a job is an option as well, where you spend those resources to finish off some of the cards that are available in the marketplace.
Yeah, that's Metrorunner.
It's kind of an overview of it.
Yes.
At the heart of it, it's an interesting little rondel system with a lot of opportunity to manipulate the board and manipulate the jobs. A decent amount of player interaction, and the rules are fairly accessible. I'd call this kind of a mid-weight, maybe a low to mid-weight Euro game.
Yeah.
In this genre. So, with an overview done, Shira, why should people be paying attention to this game? Where does it stand out? What does it do different from others in this genre? Or what might make this not right for a gaming group?
I think that this spatial puzzle in the middle of the board and the amount of player interaction that it generates is a large component of the game, and it can sway you in either direction if you enjoy that type of puzzle or if you don't enjoy that type of puzzle. Trying to look at the card up there and map out a path and know what switches you're going to be making, what moves you're going to be taking, and if you have to do any extra ones, is a thinky puzzle, and it can change by the time it gets back to your turn.
I think there's more player interaction here than you typically see in a Euro-style game as well. Not only with this puzzle and the jobs that you're fighting for, but also you're blocking locations from other players. So someone could stop on a zone or a district or an action that you really wanted to get to. Now, you can usually push it by spending your own resources to get to the next farthest one, but there's a lot of ways that you can actually get in other people's areas and prevent them from scoring what they're aiming at. I like that, but I also think for people that are more traditionally on the Euro side of the game, that like a good rondel puzzle, there might be more interaction than what people are looking for.
I think you brought up a good point about going around and people blocking spaces. I remember wanting to maximize my turns going around. So instead of having to push forward all the way over here if I wanted this action, I would take every action that I needed to take along that way, accumulating the resources, doing other things that were like secondary on my list until I got there. versus spending resources to constantly push is not always in your best interest.
And I raced around the board a little bit more, and I think we were both fairly competitive, although you did end up dominating. So maybe not. I felt competitive while I played the game. That could have been my own misguided sense of awareness. The other thing that I think is worth noting here is that at the heart and soul of this is going to be a rondel puzzle, which does by nature lead to a little bit more programming and planning as you're approaching your turns. If you're a player that likes to think on your feet, that is here, but you do, if you want to be competitive, have to think a few turns ahead.
I had my next 5 turns already planned with you guys playing.
It's light enough and midweight enough that you can do that without too much of a problem, but I don't know that every player enjoys having something that requires you to pre-program like a rondel game system does. And then finally, I think the biggest thing for me is it's a Euro game. The theme, like I kind of said at the beginning, it's here and the artwork's really nice, and I think they've designed the board and set the puzzles up in a way that is thematically cohesive, but you don't really feel like a crazy awesome hacker. It feels good to complete puzzles and cycle through them, and the job cards are cool, and they certainly do tell a story with a little bit of flavor text and the artwork that they show, but nowhere throughout this game do I feel like I'm racing along the metro lines, popping into little, hacking portals or district computer hubs and stealing things from the town and the civilization and giving them back to the poor. Like, there's not much Robin Hood here. There's just a good, satisfying board game. Yeah. Okay.
Last category is going to be talking about what the Kickstarter offers as discounts and as bonuses for backing now versus picking this game up when it comes to retail later on down the road.
Yeah, so to start off here, this is a reliable publisher. They've delivered a numerous amount of Kickstarters. They usually do have their games available to some degree in retail or through their own website and store. I do think there's going to be some things in this Kickstarter, though, that'll be a little bit harder to get, that if you're excited about this game, might sway your decision to back it now. Some of those things are going to be a metal upgrade. It does cost, I think there's a discount on it. I think it's either $7 or $12.
Wow.
But you can upgrade these to a very nice, very shiny metallic center point, which just enhances the gameplay experience, along with these nice chunky meeples that are already going to be coming in the final copy of the game. I think that is something I would highly consider if I was going to be backing this myself. Along with that, there's a free expansion. I think it's a $7 bonus and something like a 20% discount off of what they say the final game is going to be. And like I said, they usually do have their titles available to some degree, just to a limited fashion, at their own store or at conventions, and then if a retailer backs them. And so in that case, they have a good sense of what they can actually offer in terms of a financial bonus. And I think a 20% discount is a pretty good incentive, along with getting the game first. You're going to be the first people to have this game show up in your hands. Any other big things from the Kickstarter that you think is worth noting?
I think it's like utilization, user-friendly. I like what they've done. We played this back when it was a prototype copy, and I like what they've done with these tracks down here with the fact that these components stack on each other.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about multiple people hogging or clogging up a space. And I really like the chunky meeples running around the board as well.
And then the final thing I would say is, if you're some of those people that get annoyed with the marketing tactics that are common on Kickstarter, the stretch goals, the unlocks, the deluxeifications, the, hey guys, we totally didn't plan to put UV coating on our box, but you guys supported us so much, we're going to do that now, and somehow we already have the pricing structure and the cost associated with it mixed into the base price of the game. This is a publisher that has said, at least on this campaign, we upgraded the game already. We made the game as nice as we thought it could be already. We provided the metal upgrade bits for you to buy at a really aggressive price. We have done everything in our power to give you the best game because we want to make the best game. So there's not a lot of those fluffy reveals or marketing tactics utilized in this campaign. I do think, from a publisher's perspective, that is a risky thing to do.
Yeah.
Those Kickstarter stretch goals, those unlocks, they keep people engaged and they keep people coming back. But if you're someone who doesn't appreciate them, I think a lot of the industry is going towards, this is a publisher that, at least on this campaign, is indicating that they agree with you and support you. So, something to keep in mind for what you want to see in the future of Kickstarter. With that, I think we have an overview of Metrorunner.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think of this 48-hour format. It's something that I'm more and more compelled to do because a lot of campaigns change pretty drastically between the initial preview and the prototype reveal and the final project there at the end. Over on Quack & Co, I've been doing a series called Before You Back, where we rate and rank a game on a scale of 1 to 100 based on the categories not associated with the gameplay at all, but what makes a good Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And so this
whether
is
the game and the publisher is all like reputable, and whether you're going to get the copy into your hands.
And so this is a interesting way to mix that style of conversation into some videos over here on Quack & Co. Or on Quackalope, like we're doing over on Quack & Co. And a fun way to take a look at a project at that last window before it kind of closes down and stops being a unique thing for you to be involved with. So, with that, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Please ignore Shira's raspy throat and my horrible,
Lisp.
identifiable, terrible lisp. I'm hoping I get this expander out as soon as possible because my jaws moved and my tongue now just sounds like a snake. It's horrible.
It's hard for you to say
Awful.
snake, too.
It's hard for me to say your name. It's hard for me to read things. It's very
Thank you so much for being here. Whatever the case, whatever you do, remember to do the important thing. Get out and play some games.
Suck it, Ash. We'll see you next time.